If you have a sump pump pit in your house, I've seen houses that have a sump pump pit and don't have a sump pump. If you have water in these big storms, we've had a lot of rain lately. If you're getting water up through the cracks in the basement floor, or the crack where the basement floor meets the wall, if you're getting water at those points, a sump pump will help you. If you're getting water, let's say you got a crack on the foundation wall and it's up above the floor, sometimes a sump pump won't help that problem. That's a problem that needs to be addressed up above, like you've got a gully next to your house and it's collecting water. You've got water puddling next to the house. There's a lot of different pumps out there. There's high capacity pumps. What we like to do is put in a main pump, and then especially if you have a finished basement, I would put in a battery backup pump. It can run on AC power when the power is on. So in a big storm, we can run 2 pipes side by side. And I've seen a main pump where it's pumping water at midnight and the customer calls and says, hey, my basement is flooding. And I go outside, their sump pump is pumping as much water as it can, and what they really need is a second pump or a high capacity pump. And we put a second sump pump in right next to that, run a second pipe. So now you've got a battery backup that will also run on AC power. So in big storms, you can have 2 pumps running. If the power goes out now, you still have a battery backup that will kick on with the battery, and it's a deep cycle battery. It will run, that system will run for 7 hours continuously in a storm, which it's not gonna run continuously. It's gonna shut off and on. So usually, you're looking at 10 to 12 hours of runtime, but I highly recommend having a battery backup. They also make combo systems where it includes 2 pumps right there for you. But I would put in a high capacity and the battery backup. Then you're covered in pretty much all situations. They recommend replacing them every 5 to 7 years, even if they're still running. If it has a float on it on the side of the sump pump, it's a good idea to go down there and raise the float, once in a while, just to check it, just to make sure it comes on. Some people say, hey, my sump pump pit, I hardly ever see water in it. I don't know if my pump's good or not. Well, if you can raise the float on it, that's one way. Some of them have a pressure switch, and then you got to put a garden hose in there and fill the pit with water to see if that pressure switch is going to kick on. The battery backup systems that we put in, the computer will actually bring that pump on once a week just to test the pump, even if it doesn't need to. It's going to test your pump and let you know that pump is still good, so you don't have to worry about it next week when it rains for 5 hours.